Hey man, I just wanted to say one more thing. I just make a little snack for myself a certain type of way. But hey, listen man, let me explain something to you, right? Let me explain to you about sequencing, cryptic reflection, and point of acknowledgement when it comes to high anatomy and light, and sequencing when it comes to high anatomy and light. If you have an individual at a point of existence, right? And let me show you a high point of acknowledgement of one to think about what I'm speaking about. If my wife is a real extreme pretty physical being in the higher mythology and realm. This is why I'm higher than a star. So you can imagine, you could think about how wonderful my wife is, even when it comes to the physical reality, right? And for for one to acknowledge the reason why a man is of real honor a certain type of way, and the reason of the higher consciousness of regardment, the reason why it's a real physical reality of real alluring, real pleasing to one visual content and intent of the physical reality, and I humbled myself when it came to my feet of the physical reality. So let me let me explain something to an individual a certain type of way. Now, my wife is very sexy and pretty on the highest, extreme pretty and sexy of the physical reality. Now, if a person wants to acknowledge a certain frequency, like you ever seen Da Vinci Code or the Mega Code? Look at the movie A Mega Code. Literally, there's part one, part two, and part three. Look at it. I told you the Mega Code is concerning me. Now, the movie of Mega Code, when a person is learning their frequency of their point of their intent of the receptive telekinetic and telekinesis of the acknowledgement of their social education of their humane condition, and learning it from receiving messages from my wife, there has to be a certain type of attribute of the physical reality. Now, for individuals that is extreme sexy, extreme handsome, extreme pretty, extreme extreme pretty, fair, extreme sexy, fair, pretty sexy, fair, pretty, even in the physical reality, when one is receiving the receptive uh, um, telekinetic cryptic message or visual, verbal, verbal verbal communication conduct of the literacy of the etiquette of the edifying of the physical reality, one has to look at what's really going. One has to have one of the high regards of the physical reality to translate for one's communication, for one's receptiveness, to know what exactly is being said, for one doesn't discourage the anatomy of the physical reality. Because when you want to speak to my wife in the purity, it has to be somebody that's already extremely fair and pretty. It has to be somebody of exact fit so you can see the exact situation or the exact acknowledgement what she's trying to tell you a certain type of way in the physical reality. Now, if you turn to somebody that is displeasing, ugly, fat, disoriented, you see, I'm sexy, but if you turn to somebody displeasing or ugly or that causes a depression of visual view when it comes to the physical reality, you're aggravating my wife's nerves, and the receptiveness that you're receiving at the time is already off. So you can't judge somebody that's sexy and pretty or somebody that is fair or in a physical reality, because you're already in a social, humane, harmonical frequency tone of the anatomy in agreement that's causing the digression of the physical reality of the social environment. So if you have to, for a person to really receive the acknowledgement and point of acknowledgement and acknowledge of my wife, for her to even be happy with an individual, and especially when it comes to her humane condition of her earth, her planet, her moon, her sun, or the stars of the astrology, or the stars, star clusters, astrology, or constellations and zodiacs, or the sacred zodiacs, they have to be in a fair intensity of the physical reality to know exactly what my wife is speaking, because it's just like the movie 300 when I climbed the mountain in Leonidas and then seen the fairest attributes of the men or the feminine being breakdancing like they were gliding in the harmony, receiving the receptive message of the atmosphere of my empress to know what was going on, to translate to individuals. They can know what moves to be made at the time for individuals' acknowledgement, for individuals could go further into life and know what to do when it came to times of their journey, uh, of their intellect, or of their receptiveness of what they needed for themselves in the physical reality. But if you turn to somebody that is you know, they tell you, even I tell you, because I'll show you this education, I'm the one that made it, you have to go to somebody really pretty and sexy and fair in a physical reality. Because when men are pretty and sexy and fair or handsome, is that because they're showing you the allure of the empress and the reason of the point of existence of her masculinity, of her force and her strength, of the reason why she is the empress and the conqueror. So an individual will know the reasons to honor the conquest of the dignity of the signature and to know the reason of her regardment even at the time. But and I'm the emperor. So, and then I set the education and I'm the point of existence. It's like if somebody says my wife is going to come and manifest in the physical reality on the earth, I have to go check to see if everything's all right because I made my wife. And then on top of it, if you don't pay me tribute and I know I made my wife, what are you going to do to my wife? So I know you probably raped and pillaged, so I'll come like a simpleton man like you wouldn't expect. Check the situations of the social economic atmosphere. If you're a person that already digressed the situation, I already know that my wife is in danger, and then my wife has to regard what's going on with me, because the fact is, I can't manifest her around a people that's claiming to be her signature that just wants to take advantage of her, that'll cause the wrong situation. So, I'm the type of person, I'll regard her situation and just wait for another point of existence for another time, just even of her acknowledgement. Now, the same thing that happened to the Mayan calendar and the Mayan, Aztec, and Inca calendar because of what happened at the time. Because when the time, I could have set the planet to do it again, but I'm not going to do that because it happened in the original time sequencing a certain type of way. So another person was already off of what they did because of what they were causing of the physical reality, and then the cause of the individuals have to come find me in the physical reality. Because another individual knows the reason of the acknowledgement of their high consciousness, especially when it comes to their stars, their star clusters, their astrological beings, and constellations and sacred zodiacs. So they need me to be there to set the sequencing of their refinement of their anatomy for the survival of their human condition and their planets that's in other places, and of their atmosphere, and the reason when it comes to their anatomy and their health and their literal science to the metaphysics, physics, and the mythology of their physical being. So you got to watch out for this Mayan show, because I be hearing a commercial saying finish the Mayans. Like another person been waiting for its time to strike them. So be very careful with the Mayan show that comes on the television. It's just showing me a receptive form of the reflection of the physical reality of other people's input and patterns through the time and the physics and the reality, dealing with high forms of anatomy, even in visual content, even dealing like the crystal, like the television, like it was a crystal ball for one's intellect at the time of the visual conduct. So I'm just going to be real with you. So if you have individuals that try to get somebody ugly in the physical demeanor, they're already cheating other people that's fair and pretty in the physical reality, and they're lying to the individual because they're already demineralizing the physical aspect of the astrological empress, of her purity, of her features, and then on top of it, say if they hosting the energy and they're fucked up inside, and then the empress wears them, and like she's a covering, she's already dying of a fatal disease or a sickness or illness if something happens a certain type of way in the physical reality. Now you have somebody, and the Empress is letting me know that something's wrong a certain type of way, and I'm feeling it right here. Now, if I'm feeling something right here, my wife is letting me know there's a point right here that something's wrong a certain type of way, so I need to look at the situation. And on top of it, like I told you with the carpet, you have somebody already doing the wrong type of conduct that's trying to cause a wrong reaction because they're not alluring to the situation, and then they're misguiding people when it comes to the physical reality, and they're causing the deterioration of the physical because they're not the real regardment that's supposed to be refining, and I'm the only one that refines the astrological tree. So I do it in all purity. I don't do it in what people want me to do. I do it what makes me happy and exactly what I want. So if a person that's how I strengthen my Empress, and I know why I do it a certain type of way because it was a higher form of mythology and magic that was done a certain type of way. So certain things could be done naturally for my Empress could know the reason of the regardment and what she's conditioning and strengthening for herself because I'm already the one that set the atmosphere, and the atmosphere has to reflect and tell me what's going on, and it has to tell my Empress so I know before my Empress, and my Empress knows secondary no matter what order, and then we know how to handle situations. But if you have individuals in the physical reality that's doing demonic science or being demoralizing or demon, and then causing the digression of the physical reality, cheating, causing, listen to the cryptic path, this is why you speak English, there's cheating. Cheating is like coming home, finding somebody, having sex with your wife, and then it hurts your heart. There's a form of cheating. Cheating is cheating your energy. And then you have cheating that causes an individual to be of regardment to put away a situation that is causing a emotional, physical trauma to one's condition that causes a physical doom or a physical upset that causes a doom in a physical reality. So you have to know the difference of the literal cryptic pattern of individual speech. So if a person is cheating in their love, they're cheating. But if you're cheating, that's something else. It's like bearing a cross. About a person that's about to carry a heavy burden of dealing with the physical aspect of somebody that depressed their emotions of the physical reality. So you can't deal with people that's demonic, or discomfort oriented, that'll cause a turn off when it comes to the physical reality because of other people, because of cheating an individual of their physical emotions. It's like working in a hospital and then causing to have patients that have bipolar, and you don't understand the reason of the bipolar condition because a person is doing something wrong, and it's causing a person to have a mental reaction in the physical reality because another person doesn't know how to translate the situation or how to be calmly when it comes to the situation. Or as a person like my condition, that's schizophrenia, where I have to respond to the atmosphere and tell you what's going on, like pre-crime before something happens, and for you could handle the situation, or I'll go out and view the situation to show you where it is, even at the time, if it's a real danger. Now, an individual doesn't understand that, so it's like giving me a depression drug. That's like killing. I'm raw. It's like killing my conscience. You're killing my anatomy. That means like you'll be literally killing the earth. You'll be deteriorating the atmosphere, the social economic structure of the planet at the time. So if somebody's giving me drugs to depress my physical, you'll have your elements start rusting. You'll cause a lot of insurance fraud. You'll cause car crashes. You'll cause deterioration when it comes to your natural nature and your earth. Your trees will start decaying. You'll probably go into a more barren state. The weather conditions of the natural seasons would be offset a certain type of way, and then it would cause the end of the world or collapsing or of the atmosphere when it comes to certain continents and social economics places of even vitalness at the time of calling of refining of the astrological tree to the higher science. So you can't demoralize a person and cause an ugly person to want to wear the energy because it will cause a disease, and it'll cause a discomfort in the harmonical pattern of the high enlightenment of the Empress because of her love and her wonderfulness and of her earth nourishing people throughout the time. And if there's a person that is ugly, you'll be getting the wrong signals because it's causing the irritation of the Empress nerve already to even be upset and causing a harmony to be at a low frequency. Then when she's on such a high frequency, and then you'll cause the dramatic traumatic events in the physical reality that cause the wrong type of influence, of individuals that's looking for higher points of enlightenment in life to continue their journeys, so they can have wonderful enrichment in life, or the love capacity to maintain the social economic atmosphere and the guidance to their universal laws of their being. And you don't want to cheat people out there physical nourishment of the reason of the humane condition, of the purity of any legacy or lineage or dignity of any honor. And when it comes to the planet, a certain type of way, unless they never dishonored their honor of their dignity. So you got to really think about these type of things. So don't lean to other people or go to other people to get a certain type of recognition or conquering, because men that really conquer are really pretty and fair and sexy. It's not ugly people. So people that do something like that, or of course, don't go to the dark matter, because the dark matter is already the pressurized condition of the darker intent of the consciousness that causes the depth of enlightenment. It's wonderful. But if you go to, because I'm a refiner, I enlighten and intensify or white anatomy, and I'm the intensity and the refinement and regard and the healer of all white anatomy. So, the intensity, I humbled myself, and I'm a real Caucasian man. I'm really lighter than what I look. And then on top of it, if you go to the dark matter, it's already depressing and going to the darker depth of the thought of the physical reality. It's more of brutality, because this is why it's called dark matter, the deterioration and demoralizing of the physical, because we're on a celestial earth, you're learning about cellular activity. Remember about my other YouTube videos, you know what I was speaking about. So one has to be considerate when he's dealing with physical conduct of one's natural intellect, when it comes to the natural telekinetic vibrations of one's current receptiveness of one's physical reality, and of one's humane condition. So one has to be acknowledgeful about these situations. So don't let people cheat you out your reality. Know the difference. You know what I'm saying? And don't go to people that's already sick on their way, because they already fucked up other people's physical reality, and a person's just trying to get a form of manipulation when it comes to the human condition, because my wife is receptive to everything. So you gotta see how everything I'm speaking about. But have a wonderful afternoon and night, and me, I'm gonna just continue enjoying my little my snack here. And it's just like a girl that's fat or unpleasing. It's just like, let me show you, it's just like these other chicks that deal with my children, and they want to please, and they want to say, I'm going to go speak to your dad, I'm going to be around, and he can get the message from me. He don't got to be with your mom. What you mean? I know the difference between my son's relationship and my relationship. My wife really wants to be with me. Why would you try to steal the moment of the love of me and my wife, because the fact that you want to cause confusion with my son and you want to divorce my son? Probably you just want his assets, or the things that we have, and then you finding your point of acknowledgement, probably because you educated and you're trying to manipulate, because the fact is they're vindictive, and you're probably going after sacredcy of sacred knowledge. So I know the difference. I'm not going to listen to my son's girlfriend when I really need the comfort of the harmonical vibe of the sacredcy when it comes to me, because I'm the point of the consciousness. So I'm not stupid. So don't listen to fat girls or other people in fucked up relationships telling you this is how you're gonna get there. Fuck that. You'll get rid of that stupid shit. You have to kill that shit if you ever had that type of reaction, because you will hear the natural sequencing of the type of mentality of the way she's speaking. And my wife would literally show you of the mentality a certain type of way, because if she knows I'm my husband, she's gonna tell you get rid of that shit, because the fact that she's gonna do it. But my wife is more. My wife is of more conduct. These are people that rule in their harmony of their physical reality, because they don't care about their heart, of their condition, that pumps the physical reality, that cause certain things. This is why I came out with certain literal ideas of certain type of ways for individuals of high anatomy. So showing you these are people that doesn't care, that want to deteriorate, to confuse the physical reality, because they know they already did wrong, and then the energy showing you in a light frequency, even in the visual intent, because it's a difference. And then on top of it, we're on television, so telekinetic view. So you think about what I'm saying. How is that? But anyway. I'm not thinking about my son's needs when I'm viewing the television. There's nothing going on else besides me when I'm viewing. If I'm viewing something then if a person thinking about my son's need, what caused his intent or discomfortability of the physical reality if I was looking for comfort at the time, and then I have to look at a visual television to get a form of comfort, so another person's already cheating about the reality. It's like my wife trying to tell me she's jealous of certain things that I'm doing in time. That's stupid. That's a person that just mad that they can't be the empress, so they're causing confusion in the purity of the astrological tree because they want to live that point of existence. And if they can't live that point of existence, they're gonna try to cause a discomfort because they feel they're not on the level. So another person shouldn't live that life because they're not able to live that life. There's a difference in the physical reality because the difference in education and a difference of the humane condition of the existence because of what is already set is already set. That's it. So I'm not gonna say nothing. I know what I'm speaking about. So you know, don't listen to people that's gonna lie to other people when it comes to the physical reality. I'm telling the honesty, right from the real. You watch the little girls with the little hoe walk after that. That's trying to tell people, anyway, have a wonderful life. I already warned you and educated you too much. That's it. Love one.